In January 1985, Nigerian players were invited to the Green Eagles camp for the first phase of camping ahead of the World Cup qualifier against Kenya in April. Something was about to happen that would significantly change the fortune of Nigerian players in the Nigerian League forever. New Nigerian Bank FC, or NNB if you like, had 5 players on the invited list who did not report to camp early. Amongst them were Sunday Iboigbe, Henry Nwosu, Humphrey Edebor, Bright Omokaro, and Stephen Keshi. The famous 5 would report to camp after the deadline had elapsed, but there was an unspoken grudge by the NNB players at the manner the NFA favoured Enugu Rangers to win the league during the past season. The NFA had allowed players of the latter play at a penultimate title-deciding fixture for the 1983-84 campaign, while denying NNB players such privilege during a similar camp phase. Stephen Keshi had given the excuse of his daughter being sick, while Henry Nwosu went to Owerri for the final burial of his grandmother. Upon arriving at the camp, the national team coach Chris Udemezue allowed Humphrey Edebor, who had written a letter prior while in Benin but denied access to the rest, on instruction from the NFA chairman Tony Ikazobo, who in turn was backed by the then sports minister. Keshi and the others were suspended from the national team for a year and given a 6-month ban ahead of the new season, as their club were also fined. Unknown to the FA, Stephen Keshi had been courted by Ivorian side Stade Abidjan, who had watched him at the 1984 AFCON, which the Ivory Coast hosted and were very impressed. This move by the NFA left Keshi with no choice than to pack his bags and move to the land of cocoa. Stade Abidjan would request his international clearance from the NFA, but they would deny him, and after 3 months of no response, the club went on to register Keshi during the season and made him club captain, even though he couldn't speak a word of French. Keshi played for half a season at the club, an Ivorian behemoth, Africa. Sports came calling ahead of the 85-86 campaign. His commanding performances at the club wouldn't go unnoticed, and one day, the president of Belgian side, KSC Lokeren, who was on a business trip in the country, was at the stadium for one of Keshi's games. The president was very impressed by what he saw and signed him afterwards before the end of that campaign. Upon moving to Belgium, Keshi would play just 4 games at Lokeren at the tail end of the 85-86 season. By the start of the 86-87 campaign, a demand for Nigerian players would increase greatly in the country between July and January, even to Ghana, due to Stephen Keshi's sterling performances.